Hi, I'm Trevor Dimoff. I teach music and band. In this episode, I'm going to teach you your first notes for band class on the saxophone. First note we're going to start on is B, right here. So that's your thumb and your first finger. With the saxophone, we skip this one and go straight here. This is a special note that we'll learn later. So that's a skip it and here. So I've got B, A, and G. Anytime you're playing, if it sounds fuzzy or wrong, double check that you're not opening something. Sometimes these buttons, they're called palm keys because you use your palm to use them. Technically, it's this part of your finger, but they hide underneath there. Sometimes you open those by accident. There's a bunch of other buttons over here that if you press, you'll also open something up. The way the saxophone works is the reed vibrates, and it sends vibrations down the tube. The longer the tube, the lower the sound. So as I put fingers on, these notes will get lower. And that's how I get my notes, which notes that I'm going to play. So B is the first one. Sing it for me. B. Now we're going to try to play it. Very good. Add a finger. That's called A. Sing it louder. Good. One more is called G. G. B, A, and G. Now, the next note, I'm going to add from this hand, it's called E. Two more fingers. So these three stay on, B, A, G, and I'm going to add two more to go down further. That's called E. Now, sometimes that note will squeak. That's okay. If it sounds fuzzy, usually you're not covering something or you're opening something by accident, so there's a leak somewhere. And if it sounds squeaky, either the reed's in the wrong spot, you're biting too hard, or you're accidentally pushing this button, which we'll get to in just a second. So now we have B, A, G. This one is E, and I'm going to add one more called D. E and D. Say it with me. B, A, G, E, and D. And if you can't sing that low, that's okay. Now that's a really low note, but we're going to use something over here called the octave key, and that's going to jump up the notes. So now I have B, which also has an upper note. Now I was exaggerating with my hands so you could see that I was changing. I've got one more note to teach you right now. It's called C, right here, middle finger. So instead of the first finger, it's this finger. It's a little bit higher. Now, the reason it sounds higher is because when I'm here, the sound is leaking out of this hole. When I do this, it's now coming out of here. So the tube is shorter even though your finger's further away. B, C. So now we have B, A, G. So we're going to turn it around. G, A, B, C. This is a hard jump. 1, 2, 3. And all three here. And your thumb for D. Don't forget your thumb back here. So those are the first 5 notes for band class. G, A, B, C, D. I showed you that other E. We're going to need that later, but that's a bonus to help us figure out some extra stuff. So not only do you have 5 notes, but you have some more too. C, and then D. Don't forget your thumb. We'll get to those other notes that I snuck in the lesson later. Right now, the ones you need to remember, G, A, B, C, and D with all of your fingers on both hands and your thumb. Now with all of those notes, you can just play around and invent some rhythms. There's a song. It's pretty short, but and there you go, the first notes you need for band class on the saxophone.